morning from the Lonely Dell Orchard tucked deep in the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. So if you've watched my previous videos, you'll see I spent 2 nights soaking up the Grand Canyon, and I took a early morning little adventure in between, and that is this. We are tucked at the very east edge of the Grand Canyon in the Glen Canyon National Area. Lees Ferry is technically where we're at, and we are currently at the Lonely Dell Orchard, which was an orchard established in 1872. This area supported people crossing the river, miners, families crossing the river, and also was a well-known Mormon polygamy community. There's still an active orchard behind me, y'all. Still an active orchard, which is wild. So we're just gonna explore the few buildings that are here, explore the fort that is also down here, and just take a little quick trip in the beautiful Glen Canyon before it heats up. It is 6:30 in the morning because it is gonna be stupid hot today. So we're just gonna enjoy it before we continue on our Grand Canyon adventures. Of exploring all the things that are found from bygone eras. Have lots of little pottery. This looks like an old, it's cool. It's cool. This looks like how they used to plow, pulled by mule or horses. Super cool. Got another cabin. These are really well maintained, which is awesome. Got a nice stove. Love the welcome mat on the door. That's hilarious. Don't think that's circa 1872. So it looks like this was supposed to be a main lodge, the Weaver House, 1936. That's why it's so different. But it was built by Hopi stonemason Poli Hugavi. I'm sorry, I screwed that up. And it was the main lodge. Paradise Canyon Ranch. How amazing. It's wild as they struggled to make this lodge into a moneymaker. But now if they had something like this, it would be year-long wait lists. So that's just the difference in, there's a refrigerator and a washer and dryer. Sorry, that was just a little wild. But this would be like absolutely booked year-round, which is wild. So it's just wild what 1936 to 2022 can do. Can't see inside, but the outside, the rock, the windows, gorgeous, but inside is like a stucco material, and there's carved alcoves, and the windows on the other side look straight out into the canyon. Like I can't even imagine waking up here, living here. I mean, I wish you all understood where we were. We're in the middle of nowhere, and that this like a little oasis. It's so quiet. You just hear the rushing river. The Colorado River's right there. Yeah, this place is amazing. Like, what they built here is wild. Be a great place to hide in the hot summer. I'm not going in there. I have no desire. Thought that anything grows well in this clay is mind-boggling. This is actually how they did their irrigation, which is brilliant for back in the day. Pulling water from the river, siphoning it through. They had a garden. Yeah, buddy. Just absolutely wild how lush it is down here. Ugh, I'm in love. Could just stay here all day if it wasn't going to be 105. All right, I'm going to do a full circle to just show you how desolate this landscape is, how amazing it is. that they built here. Ready? It's amazing. Absolutely wild. Oh, one more thing down here, so we can give it a walk. Orchid relic behind me is one of the last remaining cabins of what would have littered this area of the ranch workers, miners, ferry operators, beekeepers, and actually holds the story of why this is called the Lonely Dell, or part of the reason why it's called the Lonely Dell. I've heard a few stories, but a specific gentleman, James Jackson, lost his wife, went to look for her, returned frostbitten without her, and stayed in this cabin until he passed. I'm assuming suicide. It doesn't really say, but he was actually the first person who was buried here. And speaking of that, I'm not a big like haunted person, but y'all, I feel presence here. It's kind of creepy because I'm here completely alone, and I swore I've heard voices, and it just feels a little eerie. So I just think about the push to the west and how vast and harsh Arizona is, and the wars that took place here over land. You just feel it. So it feels like a very sacred space because of just the pure history that is wrapped in these rocks and in this ground. This thing is just wild. He's got another, oh, that's a rock this time. I've never seen the inside of tires. It's cool. I'm assuming this is from when the lodge was around in the 30s. Catch me if I'm wrong. This is the road to the Lonely Dell Cemetery. What an amazing place to be laid to rest. You can see there's fruit on these trees, and there's peaches, nectarines, apples, almonds. There's a bunch of fruit. You can actually pick up to 5 pounds per person if fruit is ripe. So if you're here in season, these orchards are actually still in operation, and it's free to public if there's ripe fruit, up to 5 pounds. I haven't seen anything ripe just yet. Right, we left the orchard and we are now at Fort Lee, Lees Ferry Fort. There we go. Actually, the building behind us was a gold mining office, the office of the registrar. And then this building that we're heading towards was the actual fort. This fort was never attacked. It was built in 1911, never attacked. It ended up being used as a miner's mess hall, some crew quarters, before eventually falling into decay and becoming a tourist attraction. Again, what stellar views these guys had. I wonder if they realized that. They woke up grateful and thankful, or if it was just really rough living down here. Probably the latter, mixed with the former. construction of these is wild. Look how the door is like sunk back in. Don't know the purpose to that. I'm assuming just based on the thickness of the walls, which would probably keep it a lot cooler inside. These are very, very thick walls. So the remnants of the fort and the Mayan building are actually located just off the parking lot to the main boat launch, which you can hear behind me. But it's also part of the Lees Ferry, or Colorado River via Lees Ferry Trail, which is a 2.5-mile trail that follows the Colorado River. And there looks like there's some more old buildings up front, up ahead. So we're gonna check those out, and then we're just gonna do a little bit of a walk. I'm gonna try to get him some water time away from the boats if possible. It is already toasty in this canyon, so I'm really glad we got an early start. We got two buildings. The one to our left was part of the U.S. Geological Survey's presence here. They were measuring the river's flow and ensuring proper water sharing between neighboring states. And then this is the Spencer bunkhouse, which was built in 1911. And this was eventually turned into a schoolhouse from 1921 to 1925. And since then, in the 40s, it was remodeled as a residence and then a silt laboratory. Awesome. They just have a nice little walk to the river here. Amazing views. You know me, I love when I find old boilers in weird places. And I found an old boiler in a weird place. This is actually part of the mining industry, of course. That's why a boiler is here. And you know I love my old mine things. How awesome is this? Good old manufactured in Erie, PA. This is gross. There's a lot of green gunk in this water. I don't want him drinking. So we're gonna go find somewhere else. Couldn't find an area to swim there, so we're gonna try another area. Believe it or not, even with all of this being the Colorado River, the banks are full of just brush that you cannot get to the river. So we're gonna go a little bit further down where I think I saw a way. Just trying to get him some swim time because he needs his swim time. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're at Paria Beach. There were some people down there, but let's hope there's nobody down here. This boy can swim. A very nice ranger sent me this way. This looks like swimming stuff. I lost my shoe. I know. Not the way to come in. Not the way. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Let's go. Oh, rinse off. Okay, a local just told me this is not normal. Like, you are sinking up to your knees if you start to go into the water, which sucks because I can't really let him off leash because he's sinking and he's gotten stuck twice. So we're just kind of walking, skirting the edge of the water, covered in mud. It's an adventure. Everything is covered in mud. Oy vey. Time to head up the dunes and try to, I don't know, I did not bring a towel. Poor life choices. Okay, all right. Everything is muddy. I took a swim trying to get it off of me, and I think I made it worse. I don't have a towel. We did find a little sandbar to play in, but that was it, and even that was very muddy. So we're just headed back up these dunes, which are very hot on the feet, and we're gonna try to figure out how to dry off and clean up. All right, so I talked to some locals as I was heading out, and I guess during the really warm months, right behind us can get like this because it is where the Paria River combines with the Colorado River, so it kind of beats up some silt. So just be aware of that if you come to Paria Beach during the summer. If it's been a hot spell, you could have this problem. He said in the winter, it is an amazing place to fish and to be on the beach. So that said, this isn't normally like this. We just got to enjoy the quicksand version of it. So we're gonna attempt to dry off. I've used 2 body wipes to wipe the mud off of most everything, but there's a lot of sand and mud in my car. So I'm gonna let him dry off, and then a really nice National Forest Ranger gave me 2 pears from the orchard. So I'm gonna eat a pear for breakfast, and then this is my first caffeine of the day. I'm struggling, but we've got one more stop to finish off this little Lees Ferry mini adventure before we head on back up to the Grand Canyon. Last stop in Lees Ferry, well, technically Marble Canyon, is Balanced Rock. We're actually right underneath of another one, soaking in the shade because it's about 105 here. But Balanced Rock are 2 giant boulders that fell about 1,000 years ago. They compress the dirt that they fell onto, making it resistant to erosion. So as the rest of the land has washed away, you now have these perfect little pedestals that hold these giant boulders, and you can actually see it happening all through here. The rock right next to it is a very little tiny pedestal, so as the rain continues to erode this area, we'll continue to have more balanced rocks. So it is really spicy. I'm gonna get a few pics, a few videos, but then we're gonna leave Lees Ferry, and honestly y'all, I cannot wait to come back and make a longer weekend of Lees Ferry in the winter. It is stunning down here. There's a campsite. It's the gateway to the Colorado with rafting and the Paria River, and I would love to see the orchard actually flowing with fruit. This is kind of a surprising little gem to me. I always knew it was here, but I never took the time to really stop. So we're gonna take a little peekaboo at that big rock because we haven't seen that one yet, and then we're gonna head out. So I hope you enjoyed this little mini trip to Lees Ferry in the Marble Canyon area, and I hope it inspires you to add it to your road trip bucket list in Arizona. I'll see you on the next episode. Umbrella.